Ulster arrive at the Kingspan Stadium tonight, with Paddy Jackson playing his first game of the new campaign. And the skipper, Rob Herring, makes his 100th appearance. The Scarlets are the opposition, and the last time they were in Belfast, they won, despite this brilliance from Craig Gilroy. But the Welsh are here in search of their first Pro 12 win of this season. They've lost back-to-back to Munster and to Edinburgh, while Les Kiss's men are trying to make it 3 wins in a row. It's Ulster versus the Scarlets, and the teams will be on their way out in a couple of minutes' time. Glad to say it's a beautiful evening at Ulster Rugby headquarters, dare I say. A rare, perfect Friday night weather-wise for the big game. And we will enjoy it in the company this evening of Stephen Ferris and Ian Humphreys. Stephen, Ulster second in the table, third in the table at the moment after 2 wins, but by their own high standards haven't played particularly well. What do they need to do better tonight?
They haven't played that well, but I suppose you have to play what's in front of you, and they've done that the last 2 games. Yes, we probably should have got a bonus point out of the away game last week. However, we're back at home this week. We're against a Scarlets team that is struggling for form. We're sort of building on our performances, and hopefully we can build on the last couple of weeks and send all the fans home happy, because as you rightly said, everybody's kind of saying there's a lot more to come from this Ulster team, and hopefully we see it tonight.
Ian, 8 changes to the Ulster lineup tonight, and an intriguing battle at number 10 between Paddy Jackson and Rhys Patchell. What do you make of that matchup?
Obviously they're both 2 players who like to throw the ball about, and I think for us the return of Paddy is huge. He had a great summer with Ireland and South Africa and showed everybody outside Ulster how good he is. The Ulster fans have known for years how important he is to this team, and how well he runs his show, and for Ulster it's brilliant to have him back. Obviously Scarlets, new signing Rhys Patchell this year. Ulster know how dangerous he is, having played for Cardiff the last couple of years, and he'll be looking to try and score some tries. I think they've only had 1 try this year. They've dominated possession in both games, and I think they'll be coming here to try and sort of cause an upset.
Charles Piatai, Ulster's marquee signing, is back after injury. A player that the Scarlets coach Wayne Pivac will know well. He used to look after him.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Charles getting out there again tonight. I think he was suffered from a little bit of a bruised thumb over the last couple of weeks, but he's itching to get out there and show what he can do. And as you said earlier on in the top of the show, Stephen, it's a fantastic evening for rugby, and hopefully the boys put on a good spectacle.
Yeah, but Ulster are going to have to really be on their game tonight. Yes, the Scarlets haven't impressed so far, but perhaps they are wounded after 2 defeats with a point to prove.
Yeah, I mean, obviously last season Ulster lost twice to Scarlets, and we talked amongst ourselves earlier that with James Davies in the back row alongside John Barclay, Ulster have struggled in the past against 2 fetchers, and again tonight, if they can deal with those 2 boys, I think they should have a comfortable victory.
Well, Ulster lost home and away to the Scarlets last season. Let's see how they fare tonight in the company of Tony McWhirter. And first, good evening to Jim Neely.
Well, good evening, Stephen. A pristine pitch, a very, very light breeze going towards the old War Memorial end. And the Scarlets, not wearing scarlet, but wearing blue. And it's a pretty tough-looking side. Ken Owens, one of 4 internationals up front. Werner Kruger, the South African, in the front row with him. Jake Bull in the second row. Scotland's John Barclay in the back row. International halfbacks, plus the threatening position of Jonathan Davis in the middle of the park. And Liam Williams, who's moved to the right wing from fullback. And there is Liam Williams, who played the opening couple of games in his normal position of fullback, but they decided to play him, interestingly, on the right wing this evening, where he'd be, I'm pretty sure, just as big as a threat. Scarlets played 2, lost 2, no point, as opposed to Ulster's played 2, won 2, and 9 points out of a maximum 10. The consensus would be that Ulster maybe left a bonus point behind them in Treviso last weekend. And many congratulations to Rob Herring, captaining Ulster for the 18th time. 15 occasions he did it last season, but now here in his 5th season with Ulster, he wins his 100th cap, and his mum has come all the way over from his native South Africa to see him play. Big night for Rob Herring, and a big night for this Ulster side, who need to keep the ball rolling, so to speak. Well, 8 changes in total. Into the pack come Callum Black in the front row, the combination of Pete Brown and Alan O'Connor playing together for just the second time. And good to see Robbie Diak, who's back in the middle of the back row. Behind the scrum, while Paddy Jackson returns, Stu McCloskey starts, Craig Gilroy returns to the right wing, Louis Ludick moves to the left, and Charles Piatow starts at fullback. The referee this evening, in his 27th game at this level, is Ben Whitehouse, who gave up the day job a couple of seasons ago to concentrate on becoming a full-time rugby union official. And he's not making a bad fist of it. Quite impressed with him.
Won't necessarily be always there to play though, okay? Well, if it's not forward or things like that. Happy White, time on.
So it's the man who caused Ulster a lot of problems when he played for the Cardiff Blues last season. Gets this game underway, and straight down to the man who scored against the Scarlets, or we can't really call them the Blues tonight, when they last played here. Well, a bit of adventure here already from Ulster. Stu Olding, little chip. Patchell waits and gathers, and is well taken by Charles Piatow. Good work at the breakdown by the Scarlets forwards. This is the big Scotsman, John Barclay. 52 times he's played for his country. Good defending there by Ulster. Hadley Parks, the man born in New Zealand 28 years ago, sets it up. Davis gets it away. Jonathan Davis moves it wide. Good to see him back playing again. Be looking for another Lions tour perhaps at the end of this season. Jake Ball makes a bit of ground. This is good continuity by the men in blue. Davis, Patchell. Well taken by Robbie Diak on the Ulster 10-metre line. Ulster have stolen that. Herring runs into a bit of traffic. Pienaar. Jackson leans back. That looks pretty good from here. And it's pretty good from over there. Well, what an accomplished kick by Paddy Jackson. Tony McWhirter, good evening.
Good evening, Jim. Good evening, everybody. It's a superlative start from Paddy Jackson, back in the out half position for Ulster this evening, and picking up where he left off from Ireland during the summer in South Africa.
Well, to be fair, the man from whom he's taken over, Brett Herron, he's been kicking pretty well out of the hand as well, but that was nicely done by Paddy Jackson. Penalty against Ulster at the very first line, and Alan O'Connor adjudged to have dragged the whole thing down by referee Ben Whitehouse. So the first penalty of the evening goes to the Scarlets, and Ulster do not want to get into this habit of giving away cheap penalties. First line out of the game here at the King's Band. Ken Owens captaining the Scarlets now with 42 Welsh caps. Good take at the front. Davis, Patchell. Parks moves it wide. Jonathan Davis thought about putting it back inside to Alan Thomas, his fullback, who was coming up.
Fine, no issue.
Oh, taken away by Barclay. Ulster's defence close to the ruck, not so good. Pienaar managed to drag down his opposite number. Thumping tackle there by Alan O'Connor. Scarlets very definitely on the front foot. Barclay again, who set the whole thing up.
Release, White, good.
Again runs into O'Connor. Gareth Davis, Reese Patchell. That was Alan Thomas, got it away. Good turn of pace there by the 7 specialist James Davis, silver medalist for Great Britain in the recent Rio 7s. Clatter right in the middle of the back, and Steph Evans gets away. And Ulster managed to intercept that. It looked as if it was Craig Gilroy grabbed it, and he set it up. Pienaar. This is enterprising stuff from Ulster. Piatow, great strength, and he's got away. Good work by Clive Ross, well tackled.
You pushed him. No issue.
Well, I thought I heard Ben Whitehouse say pushed him, so somebody must have given a shove, but I think it was holding on the tackle. Well, great enterprise there by Steph Evans. But what a good piece of interception there by Craig Gilroy. And what a bit of counter-attacking by the marquee signing.
Yeah, and good support from Clive Ross as well, Jim, who's been superb the last 2 weeks for this Ulster side. But already we get an indication of the way that the Scarlets like to play. Loads and loads of width with the shape in their attack. And very Southern Hemisphere orientated, obviously. Wayne Pivac and New Zealand are coaching. And they tend to leave forwards in that channel between touchline and 15. Pods out there and play to it from side to side. Look for mismatches and look full of invention.
Well, I've always thought that the Scarlets are a much better side than their first 2 results in this season's campaign have threatened to be. This is Patchell. Oh, he scuffed that very badly, and a ribald cheer from the Kingspan crowd.
Test them again, lads.
Caused Ulster major problems the last time he faced, and that was for the Cardiff Blues at the Arms Park when he scored 18 of their points. And Les Kissel will be mighty relieved about that, and that was a genuine let-off for Ulster. Jackson into a bit of a stiffish breeze. Liam Williams. Patchell. That's gone very high. Pieta waits. Not a brother. Needs a bit of help. Gets it from Robbie Dyack. Pienaar. Bit of width on it. Nicely done. McCluskey. Pienaar just on that narrow side. Louis Ludick.
Rock formed.
Set up well by Peter Brown.
Tackle, Rock.
Good shunt by the Ulster forwards. Jackson. Olding. Nice little show. Not the greatest pass from McCluskey. A bit of hesitation there, but Dyack covered well. And the Ulster player was tackled without the ball, and the penalty goes to the men in white.
It's been breathless so far, Jim. Nearly 6 minutes played. And the ball's been in play for the vast majority of that. And once we see Paddy Jackson, great touch line down that Ulster right-hand flank deep into the Scarlets 22. But certainly the crowd look as if they're going to get their money's worth this evening.
Oh, without a doubt, Charles Pieta has been the
took 15
top signing by any club in this Pro 12 competition. Here's a man who wanted to celebrate his 100th Ulster appearance by leading the side to victory for the 3rd time this season. Rory Best, needless to say, champing at the bit to get back. Herring. Good take by Alan O'Connor. Ulster have been pretty adept at scoring tries from this sort of a range, but the Scarlets have met them head on.
From the back. From the back, 8. He's come through the middle.
Barkley pulled to get away. Here's Pienaar. Now Jackson. Little dink through for Gilroy. Just perhaps a wee bit too far. And all the way across goes Alan Thomas. Well, nicely executed.
Yeah, it was. Good catch and drive and platform, but credit to the Scarlets in terms of the way that they repelled the Ulster drive. And you see the ball behind Jackson here. He looks up with Scarlets pushing hard in midfield and cutting down the options, Jim, and he goes for the wiper grubber kick, but just placed too far in front of the Ulster winger.
Take him back in the 22. Take him back in.
McCluskey knocked that back into his 22, so they can't kick directly into touch, and Gilroy's not going to. He's going to have a go here. Sean Reedy. Pienaar, hint of an overlap, and they can shift this. Olding puts the foot on the gas. Very nearly lost it. Well away. Robbie Dyack into the Scarlets' half. Good switch by Pienaar. Pieta. Scarlets have had time now to get themselves realigned. There's a thin blue line there on halfway. Callum Black. Pienaar. Jackson. Reedy. Jackson again. McCluskey has a real go. Well tackled by big Jake Ball. Dyack. Oh, nicely done. That's well away. And here goes Gilroy. Good covering by Hadley Parks. Good passage of play this for the home side. Set up once again by Reedy. Pienaar. Pieta. Olding. Gets away nicely. Dyack. Oh, clever stuff by Dyack. Good support play by Craig Gilroy. Now it's Pieta again. Bit of momentum building from the men in white. Here's Dyack. Good handling by Ulster. This is the best we've seen from them this season. Penalty against the Scarlets for offside. What a passage of play by Ulster.
Yeah, great use of the blind side, taking it in, one phase, two phase. Tag on, Jim, quick ball, but Robbie Dyack very influential, carrying a lot of ball early, but more importantly, keeping the ball alive, keeping this tempo high. Both teams really looking to play with ball in hand, and I say, so far, the tempo quite magnificent.
Well, coming up to 10 minutes gone, and those 9 odd minutes have really flown in.
He never reloaded back.
Good return to the starting lineup by Robbie Dack. 178 caps now he's up to for Ulster. This is good stuff. Plenty of awareness of where the support play is. Pinar's pass is just sublime. Good work there at the breakdown by initially Sean Reedy.
Time, okay. Committed to the tackle within play on. Last one, very marginal. If it's obvious.
That's going to come in. What a lovely strike by Paddy Jackson, as if he's never been away. First attempt at the opposition points of the season, and 3 points for Paddy Jackson. 10 minutes gone. Ulster 3-0 up.
You just said it, Jim. It's just like he's never been away. Again, a superlative strike, this time off the deck. We were right behind that. That did not veer 1 inch straight over. Ulster 3-0 up.
Patch up. Into the arms of Gilroy. Now Dayak. Well tackled. Can he squeeze it back? He can, but it's slowed down. A little width on it. Referee playing advantage. Paddy Jackson to Stuart Olding.
Number 4, you were never committed to the tackle. You continue to make it. That's 2 after the pass, well after it.
Jake
2
Ball
tackles
penalised.
now.
Good kick by Jackson, right in the middle of the park, and he's found a decent touch. It's good incisive refereeing, Jim, by Ben Lighthouse. Already he's laid the letter of the law down. It's quite clear in terms of what he wants from the players. He'll expect high standards from them, and that will aid the game and help with the flow.
Ulster up to halfway. Oh, great take at the back. Pinar, Jackson, McCluskey thunders forward, makes good ground. Pinar, lovely pass. Jackson, Olding. Good tackle by James Davis.
Use it.
Reedy, support from Callum Black, and Pete Brown is there too. Was that deliberately knocked forward? Did he go for the ball?
Check that because I ducked out of the way of the pass.
Well, it was
Charles. I don't know if you just heard what I said.
Jake Ball, I think, who just knocked it forward. And he's going upstairs to the TMO, who's Charles Sampson from Scotland, who was the TMO in Treviso a week ago, to see if that was a deliberate knock forward, in which case it'll be, well, at least a penalty. I don't think it's yellow cardable.
Possibly, Jim, had a flap up with one arm, but if we go back 30 seconds previously, he's already been pinged twice by the referee for offences, so this could be the third one. How's that?
Okay, that's going to be a penalty, and we're going to have
I don't think he made any attempt to catch that. It's certainly going to be a penalty, and a ticking off, I suspect, at the worst.
Okay.
The bewhiskered Mr. Ball in a bit of trouble with the referee. He's going to have a word with him.
It's going to be a penalty and a penalty only. However, this is now the second penalty against you in probably 2 minutes, okay? We can't have these penalties going on all day. They are 3, 1, 2 against him, another against, is it 4 or 6? That's 3 what we call silly penalties, okay? We can't have them now, okay? Discipline needs to improve for these boys. Thank you very much. It's a penalty here.
Nothing more than the penalty. Crowd booing because they would have liked to have seen the Scarlets reduced to 14 men, but that's not going to happen.
Is there problems with the comms to Charles, lads?
What a strike by Jackson.
We've seen some nice variation, Jim, in the Ulster play already, probing the wider channels with back row intermixed with forwards and backs, but then we see on this occasion Jackson takes it up and looking for that inside ball, back inside a la Piatoy in the Northampton game, looking for those close channels where the space appears.
We had a very generous round of applause before the game started, because it's been exactly 4 years since Ulster Rugby lost Nevin Spence, who, along with his father and brother, died in a dreadful farming accident. Much missed by everyone, Nevin Spence. Rob Herring having a little look. I don't think the Dragons are going to succumb, but you never know. They've whipped it round. Have they done something illegal? Referees in the middle having a really good look. Ulster need to win this. it's all slowed down, but Ulster just about got it. And they didn't get it back quickly enough, and the Scarlets get the first turnover of the evening.
Yeah, it's tremendous defence. Cannot appreciate how much hard work goes in defensively to try and stop and stem that situation. Ulster, Robbie Diak again claiming it well. Great platform set. Scarlets repel the first one. Ulster walk around the corner, but again they're able to counter drive and get the turnover.
Gareth Davis.
Discipline. Shoulder, out, good. And yourself.
I think this is the first scrummage of the evening. Not much between them. Ulster just a pound a man, that little bit heavier. So it's all about technique. On the Scarlets' tight head side is the 4 times capped Springbok, Werner Kruger, now 31 years of age. Pienaar turning round to the touch judge on the other side, saying there's something naughty went on there. He's not happy about it.
The ball was never in the scrum because it hit a knee or a leg, which is a reset.
So it's going to be reset.
It never got put in.
Nigel, Ben Whitehouse, Nigel of course was his dad, Ben Whitehouse, saying there was nothing wrong with that, but it has to go in again. It wasn't in the scrum properly.
It was fine. Huh? Grass is, there's nothing wrong with this pitch.
Ken Owens, a veteran of 2 World Cup campaigns with Wales.
Straight down, okay? Crouch. Bind. Set.
Down it goes. Penalty against the Scarlets. I think it was the man on the far side called that one, actually.
Yeah, touch judges called that, Jim.
Feet back. Hinging, feet back, straight down. Number 1.
And the penalty went against the Scarlets' loose head prop, Wyn Jones.
Yeah, what the referee means by that, Jim, hinging, is that basically he's just tilted from his hip position with his shoulders going down below his waist, making no attempt to try and keep the scrum up.
Well, one might have thought that Ulster would have gone for the line out and gone for the drive over. Can't see it from this side if it was Wyn Jones. It came down this side as well. In fact, Kruger lost his footing completely, and there's no excuse for that on a carpet-like surface here at the Kingspan. So rather than go for the try, Ulster have asked Paddy Jackson to go for 3 further points as we approach 16 minutes gone.
The Scarlets have done well defensively in the line out so far, and maybe Ulster just surmising into this quite stiffish breeze. Let's get some points on the board.
Opposite side of the field from his first and successful kick. Well, you could hear by the roar before it had got anywhere near the post that it was going to be another good one. 2 kicks from 2 for Paddy Jackson. First game of the season for him, and Ulster leading now by 6 points to 0, still inside the first quarter.
Yeah, more importantly, Jim, it's the Scarlets who are on the wrong side of the referee so far. Their penalty count almost nearly getting out of control.
Patchell long again, and again finds Gilroy. Scarlets player not really getting out of the way at the moment. Pienaar, who's brought that in field very nicely, given Chaser was a great target. Knocked forward, play on, says the referee. Pienaar gathers. Pietro had to check a wee bit.
Advantage over.
But away he goes. Sean Reedy. Once again, Ulster starting to build a little bit of continuity. Pienaar. Jackson had a little look, finds Diak. Back inside to Brown, who did really well. This is good stuff from the men in white. Olding sets it up well. Pienaar. Callum Black. What a good pass. Jackson. Has he overcooked that one? I don't think so, you know. What a smashing kick by Jackson. Well, he's got the golden boots on tonight.
You certainly do, and from a coaching perspective, you don't play a pattern any better than that. Some fantastic offloading. Jackson, Diak inside to Pete Brown, and there's Olding. Dancing feet, but makes the ball available so quickly, but Charles Pietoy really is buzzing from the back, Jim.
Well, sometimes you need the bounce to be kind, but the direction was perfect. Owens. Back on the Scarlet side, John Barkley, the Scotsman. recall to Scotland's most recent Six Nations campaign after a couple of years in the wilderness. Good defending by Ulster, trying to rip the ball away, but it's coming back on the Scarlet side. They may be forced to kick as Jonathan Davis gives it a hoof. Well covered by Gilroy. Piatow inside him. Louis Ludick. Jackson did well. Olding at pace. Good stuff. Here comes McCluskey. He's strong enough. He gets it to Louis Ludick. What a score by Ulster. No hesitation on the part of the referee whatsoever. No TMO required. No touch judge involved. And Ulster have scored a splendid try.
You take to this Ulster back three at your peril. Piatow attracts so much individual attention, Jim, that creates space for others. Here we see the ball coming out. It's Ludick with the floater pass, slightly back. But once again, Jackson, ball in two hands, commits inside. Olding goes through, commits. Good carry from McCluskey, ball in two hands. And there's Ludick running a fantastic trail line inside. Straight off the training park in terms of drills that Neil Doak will do with the players. But we still have to nail the passes and nail the 5 points.
It's all about angles and it's all about support. And also got both right. Jackson, a clever little pop. Great strength by Stuart Olding, and wonderful offload there by McCluskey. Sixth league try for Louis Ludick. Needed to drift in, didn't quite make it. Well, you may forgive him for that. He'll probably not forgive himself for a minute or two, but he'll not let it bother him. What a start by this Ulster side going into the second quarter of this game, and Ulster leading by 11 points to nil, and good value for that at this stage.
Great value, but it's that instinctive offloading, Jim. It's so hard to defend against. It almost looks intuitive from this Ulster team. They're reading each other so well.
Change in restart style by Patchell, knocked forward by Ulster. Referee playing advantage. James David gets it away to Wyn Jones.
Kicked away, play on.
Kicked away. Advantage over. Jackson gathers and kicks. And the bounces once again just about spot on for Ulster's outside half.
Come on. Don't step out. Stay where you are. Stop. Good. Got the gap now. Some more. No, three. Playing advantage, three in the side. Three, I've got it.
Rodney Ayew penalised for coming in at the side. Referee waiting for advantage to the Scarlets.
Still advantage, keep my mark actually.
Advantage still being played, so it won't really matter where this goes. Back goes Alan Thomas, and Ben Whitehouse, having played a decent bit of advantage, is given the penalty against Rodney Ayew for coming in at the side.
Yeah, shot to nothing for the Scarlets. Reece Patchell goes for the crossfield kick, doesn't come off. Referee goes back for Rodney Ayew's offence, and Scarlets will now get time to kick the touch and spend some time in the Ulster half.
Second start in an Ulster jersey for Rodney Ayew, Irish international, who played no fewer than 112 games for Connacht. Well, it was a terrific finish. Good continuity, and Olding just delayed the pass perfectly, and McCluskey combined strength and skill, and Ludick finished it in style. Well, taken at the front by the Scarlets, they brought in the Gareth Davis, who's not too far away. He does this all the time. Dangerous time now for Ulster. Referee says play on. If Ulster turned that one over, it was carried over the line, I think, by Ulster. But they may well be able to winkle it back, and Ulster very close to conceding a try. So they can't write off this Scarlets team by any stretch of the imagination.
Steal of the century from Rob Herring, Jim, because the Scarlets were absolutely steaming onto that as well. He's managed to get himself on the right side, lean over, pluck the ball. But unfortunately for him, then he's been carried back over his own goal line, which means with the ball being held up, it's a scrum down to the Scarlets. But we see Scarlets attack here. And there's Herring just working his way around. Robbie Diak it is, possibly, no, it's Rob Herring. That's magnificent defence.
Well, it certainly was. Craig Gilroy looked as if he got a bump. I think he's okay, though. And Ulster just about got away with that one and no more, but they have got to concede the scrummage. Well, they couldn't be closer. Just to the left as we look at it of the Ulster post. Scarlets have split their forces behind the scrum on both sides. Down it goes. Penalty against the Scarlets yet again. Gareth Davis thought it was for him and wanted to take it quickly, and Duran Pienaar snaffles it. A lot of pressure being put on the Scarlets' loose head by Rodney Ayew.
Yeah, certainly is. And Wyn Jones, that's the second time now breaking his bind in this occasion, but Ulster really muscled up well at that scrum time, had a shot at it, and have got just rewards.
I'll come over that next side, okay?
He's heard Ben Whitehouse saying that next scrum he's going to go over to that far side to see what's going on, not to rely on his touch judge. Well, there's a very interesting score at the Arms Park. High-flying Glasgow, 13-0 down against the Cardiff Blues.
Take a step out. Take a step out.
Brown wins it. Good pass by Paddy Jackson. Holding, maybe just didn't have the gas to get through the first line of defence. Taken on by Brown. Played 7 of the last 8 games of last season. Jackson, McCluskey. Thought about getting it away. Oh. John Barkley, the crowd thought was 100 light years offside, but the referee says go ahead. That seemed to be knocked down. In the tackle, it's going to be a scrum to Ulster.
Also looking to use their feet, Jim, trying to get outside, inside shoulder of defenders and then look for that off though. But what also was very impressive is the way that the outside backs are rucking. We see on this occasion that Stuart McCluskey and Piatoy in there clearing ball out. And that's all important because sometimes outside backs maybe not too keen to get involved in the nastier side of things, but certainly by securing ball quickly keeps the pace of the game up.
We have a stoppage for an injury to the Welsh scrum half, Gareth Davis, born in Carmarthen some 26 years ago, been vying with Rhys Webb from the Ospreys for the scrum half place on the Welsh side, and we'll be doing that again this autumn and indeed for the upcoming Six Nations.
At the moment, make sure just stepping out, as they're stepping out at the line now, okay? All right. But just
Clive Ross, man of the match a week ago against Treviso's, had a very good start to the season, played all 3 games.
I don't want you too close to the middle, okay? Some of your players aren't listening to me off the cap as well, okay?
There's a change in the way that Ulster lining up, Jim, this evening in the back row as well. For the first 2 games, we've seen Sean Reedy and Clive Ross playing left side flanker and right side flanker, whereas tonight with Robbie Diak in the number 8 slot for Roger Wilson, they look as if they're reverting more to a natural open side and blind side wing role. Sorry.
Les Kiss, a couple of seconds ago, we had a look at that Wayne Pivac, who was flanked by the great Stephen Jones, who played no fewer than 104 times for Wales. Glasgow have come back as you'd expect them to, 13-7 at the Arms Park. Gareth Davis seems to be fine. 25 minutes gone, and this is Ulster's first scrimmage when they have the put in. See if the Scarlets can put any pressure on the home 8.
Set.
Callum Black, who's past the 100 mark in terms of caps for Ulster. Oh, Black has dug in wonderfully well. Terrific scrummaging position. Down it goes on this side, but the referee's happy. Robbie Diak gets it away. McCluskey, Pienaar, Jackson inside to Ludick. Lovely stuff from Ulster. Here's Piatow with him. And Piatow gets it away to Gilroy. And here goes Gilroy. Here's pulled back. Is anybody going to get him? Absolutely not. Oh, into touch. Wonderful covering tackle there by Liam Williams, I'm pretty sure, and Gilroy very close to Ulster's second try, but it was the sweetest of pieces of handling.
Beautiful. Diak off the back, creating the space with the link to Pienaar. It's Ludick on that inside line, Jim. Ball in 2 hands once again. Committing defenders and sweet hands from Piatoy. Gilroy pins the ears back. That's a hell of a tackle from Liam Williams. Absolutely outstanding.
Well, he's pretty feisty and pretty abrasive, Liam Williams, but I tell you, he has courage coming out of both ears. He never lets his side down. Jonathan Davis couldn't quite get it away cleanly. Far as Piatar. Gilroy is looped round. Here's Ludic. Oh, big gap suddenly appeared. Needs to get it back inside. That was knocked down, surely deliberately.
It's just hit his arm.
No, you can hear Ben Whitehouse saying it just hit his arm. Well, you can hear what the crowd thought, and maybe I was wearing an Ulster hat there for a second, Tony. Apology, dear listener.
I'd like to have a look at that again, Jim, because Louis Ludic had turned him inside out and played the ball, and maybe just a flash of a long fingernail was enough to just to make the ball air the wrong way. And Gareth Davies looks guilty. He's standing with his hands on his hips and his head down, and well, it's hard to tell from that angle.
Time is off, we're not losing any game.
Werner Kruger is down injured, and old warrior that he is, the South African international, I think that might be one of those diplomatic injuries.
Still the elephant call. Tight head, take 5. But Ulster pressurising Jim Scarlets defensively well whenever it comes to the kick. Not letting them kick the ball where they want to. Jonathan Davies in this occasion, and it's basically just a punt down the middle of the field, and Piatar's underneath it, and the Ulster back 3 are lining up to have a cut at them.
Both of us, feet underneath us, okay? So we don't have
everybody out to the right-hand side of the field. From an Ulster perspective, Charles Piatar in between Stuart Olding and Craig Gilroy. So Ulster really posted their intentions. And what they must do, first of all, is secure possession from this scrummage.
Crouch!
Pienaar always looking round, looking to just assess his options. Started looking scrum. Now, can they get a bit of a shunt on?
Use it.
Good control by Robbie Dyack. Referees told him to use it. You have to use it. Pienaar. Ludic off the left wing. Quicker ball for Ulster. Clive Ross runs into half a dozen blue shirts. Pienaar again. Taken on by Dyack. Bit loose. Pulled back in again by Rodney Ayew. Well, it's on the ground, and Ulster need to be a little bit more aggressive at the rucking. Play on, says the referee, and that's well stolen. James Davis has tried to get it away. What a thumping tackle by Pete Brown on the 7 specialist. But that was a genuine chance there for Ulster, which I'm sure they'll regret not taking. And Patchell gets it away with a wonderful clearing kick. 28 minutes gone, 11-0 to the home side.
That's the issue that Ulster have to contend with, Jim. The first 28 minutes have been so loose and played with such abandon. And it's very easy for people to forget their rules, lead people into ruck, and to create quick ball and to stop it getting messy.
Don't be childish.
Not quite sure to whom that comment was directed. Don't be childish, says Ben Whitehouse. Oh, great take by Dyack. Pienaar. Jackson. McCluskey leaves it for Stuart Olding. Pienaar again. Robbie Dyack, who's put himself about this evening. Quicker ball. Pete Brown will take it forward. And next ground.
Tackle is no problem. Tackle, no problem.
Pienaar gets it away well to Craig Gilroy. Spirals out of the first 2 tackles. Again is Pienaar. Rodney Ayew. Good work by the 19-stone tight head. Jackson. Flat ball, well taken on by Clive Ross. Ulster building patiently.
No.
O'Connor at scrum half. Jackson. Pienaar goes in. Read that nicely at the breakdown. Now it's Pienaar. Flat pass back inside. Still there for Ulster. I thought they'd lost possession there for half a second. Pienaar, Callum Black. They should be looking for another score before half-time. And they won't get it if they give away penalties at the breakdown.
Straight away, he's in there.
And that's James Davis, Jim. He's renowned for that. So low to the ground at ruck time. And unless you get there very quickly, you're not going to get him out of there. Just limpets onto the ball in that jackal position so quickly.
Patchell to give the Blues a little bit of relief, and that's another good kick. Curled it very nicely. Just about half an hour played. This is Piatar. Runs into another New Zealander, Hadley Parks. The penalty was given away there. Did Yeah, I think Ulster went off the feet and right round. Oh, the Lions have gone with throws so far. A good pass there from Gareth Davis to Hadley Parks, who captained the Scarlets last time they were here at Ravenhill when they won. Patchell. Bit of an overlap, Jonathan Davis. Good defending by Ulster. Good work by Gilroy. Taken on by Big David Bulbring, the South African second row. John Barkley, the Scotsman.
Release, ruck. He's come through. No.
Ulster rucking ferociously once again. The Scarlets have it, but it's slower ball. Davis, bit of width on it now. Liam Williams, ball in hand. Piatow, he's knocked that forward, says the referee, who was right on the spot.
Off the top of your arm, just a knock on. Bounce forward, then went backwards.
There's some nice shape from the Scarlets, Jim, again, holding their width on both sides and also just finding themselves slightly unmanned. Piatow on this occasion just deemed by the referee to have knocked that on, but Ulster's defensive shape is good. They're pushing well inside line. They're not missing any first up tackles,
which is crucial. Coming into that period where sides like to score just before half-time, and if Ulster could get another score, who knows what the outcome could be.
Crouch!
Callum Black on this side for Ulster, up against the Springbok Werner Kruger. 4 caps he got for his country, last against England 4 years ago. Pretty useful signing for the Scarlets.
Already pre-engaged. Start again.
Ben Whitehouse has come to the open side of the field to see what's going on between Kruger and Callum Black.
Crunch! Come on, bind! Set! Use it! Both teams are down.
It's gone down, but the referee's happy enough for that. Patchell, Davis, Olding with a good tackle, but Davis strong enough to get away.
No, the ball is clear.
Davis, Patchell again. Ulster's up, defence up quickly. What a big thump by Louis Ludick. Read that nicely. Davis again. Jake Ball. Good tackle by Olding, who went low and took the big fella down. Davis again. Now Patchell. This is better stuff by the Scarlets. Hadley Parks.
Away one.
Scarlets getting close to Ulster's 22. That was Bulbring again.
Use it.
Slow ball. Ken Owens, the skipper, into Robbie Dyack. Davis, Patchell, spilled forward. Advantage to Ulster. And no advantage comes, and they'll come back for the scrummage. Good defence by Ulster.
Yeah, very much so. Why do you see people like Rhys Patchell make mistakes, Jim? Why does he take his eye off the ball? Because he knows the cavalry's coming. Ulster very, very quick up. It's Sean Reedy in this occasion with Herring inside him, and there's so much pressure coming to bear on the Scarlet inside backs. Ulster all over them like a rash.
Yeah, Ulster defence coach Joe Barakat will be rubbing his paws together.
The work rate's been excellent this evening. Very few people have found themselves on the ground. As you said earlier, the first up tackles are being made. Men are then not finding themselves out of the way.
Well, Glasgow have overturned a 13-0 deficit to go ahead 14-13 in Cardiff, so 2 converted tries, it would seem. And Edinburgh at home leading Leinster by 8 points to 0. This is going to be a very interesting league campaign.
Yeah, well, certainly without the World Cup, Jim, everybody's at full strength, basically straight away. Or maybe the Irish sides who are having their Irish players bled back into the system slowly, but the standard this year is going to be better than ever.
Ian Henderson on the bench for Ulster tonight. I'm sure he'll get some game time, and still to come back in terms of World Cup involvement, Rory Best and Andrew Trimble, who's the joint skipper with Rob Herring.
And you've Jared Payne as well, Jim, don't forget.
Jared Payne as well. How can we forget Jared Payne? It's a good Ulster scrummage. Scarlets penalised for whipping the scrum round illegally. You're not allowed to do that. You've got to drive straight. You can't have one man drive and one man pull.
And as I said,
Takes all the fun away from the front row play, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. In the good old days, you could have a cut at your opposite number, but it's slightly precarious from Ulster leaving the ball at the back of the scrum for so long. You know, I can understand that they're maybe trying to get a little bit of one-upmanship and get the penalty, but perhaps they'd be better served by getting the ball out to this back line who looks so exciting.
Well, under 5 minutes to go to the interval here at the King's Span. Ulster leading by 11 points to 0. Good take by Dyack, who's done well in every facet. Sean Reedy. Pienaar. Alan O'Connor. Pete Brown, his second row partner in as well. Now Jackson. McCluskey has a cut. Great strike by McCluskey. Ferocious handoff. Here goes Gilroy. Thought he saw a little bit of daylight on the narrow side. Kicked back by the Scarlets. Clive Ross does the sensible thing and tidies it up. Oh, there's a foot come through. You're not allowed to do that.
You cannot kick it from here.
That's going to be a yellow card. You can't do that. And it's guess who? Jake Ball. Bye-bye, Jake.
It's ridiculous, really, Jim. He's been warned, penalised twice by the referee, warned on maybe 2 or 3 other occasions. It's a very strong edict this year from the IRB that you cannot kick the ball while it's lying stationary at the back of the ruck. He knows exactly what he's doing there. And that's just absolute stupidity from his point of view. It's going to cost his team dear, perhaps.
Yeah, well, he's played 20 times for Wales, the Ascot-born second row forward. Off he goes. He'll have just a bit of time before the interval just to calm himself down. I'm sure he'll get a roasting from Wayne Pivac. So can Ulster capitalise with the Scarlets down to 7 forwards? The ball is out. It was on the ground and he came steaming through, and you're just not allowed to do that, nor can you interfere with the scrum half. Ulster driving forward. This is good stuff by the men in white. Pienaar, McCluskey thinking about going to the narrow side. In fact, it's Gilroy in the narrow side. Ulster still moving forward. Pienaar, Gilroy gets the sidestep. What a tackle. Still there for Ulster. Good driving forward by Rodney Ayew, looking for his first try. Pienaar, McCluskey. If they can move this, they might have a man over. Nicely done. Piatow, little check on the drive. Good take by Robbie Dyack. Ulster pressing for a crucial try before the interval. Pienaar whipped it away to Jackson. Knocked forward by Ulster. Referee playing advantage. And yet again, a try-scoring chance might have gone and ruined Pienaar in his desperation to get the ball back. Has given away the penalty. Liam Williams takes it quickly rather than go for a touch. Well, again, Tony, that was an Ulster chance that should have been taken. Evans caught. Good tackle, but it's Patchell. Clive Ross has got to be quick. Jonathan Davis, clever kick. This could go anywhere. Gilroy waits, does the sensible thing. Did he knock it backward? He did, says the referee. Ball is still in the ruck. Ulster have got back. Nobody on this the near side, so Pienaar gets it to the far side. McCluskey still going. A minute and a half to go. Ulster will be kicking themselves perhaps if they didn't increase their lead. Ayew goes to ground. Slow ball for Ulster. Jackson, I think, poised to kick. He's given that plenty of height. Where's it going?
Backwards.
Went backwards, kicked on by Ulster. Now this could be interesting. Alan Thomas, the fullback. Well gathered by Pienaar. Good offload now to Gilroy. Jackson at pace. Oh, good reverse. Here's Robbie Dyack. Well away by Callum Black. Good tackle by Alan Thomas. And just when they needed the ball, Ulster concede the penalty.
And it's that man, James Davies, again at the breakdown, Jim. How good is he at that? He reads the play so well and just straight on it, but Again, Ulster looks so potent and so dangerous on the counter-attack from the back. Gilroy coming forward on this occasion, linking with Jackson, and once again, Robbie Diak has been everywhere this evening. Good hands, staying big in the tackle, getting the offload away, and Ulster look very potent with ball in hand.
Well, this should be the last set piece of what's been a very pacey and absorbing first half. Ulster will perhaps be regretting the fact that they haven't gone further ahead. What a game at the Arms Park. Cardiff regain the lead. Cardiff with a converted try, leading Glasgow by 20 points to 14. Edinburgh still 8-0 up against Leinster. Ken Owens. No great challenge there from Ulster. That was big Lewis Rawlins who took it on. And Owens into touch. And he'll be happy to get to the dressing room and have a chat with his coaches, Stephen Jones and head coach Wayne Pivac. Ulster will be the happier of the two, and the crowd certainly pretty happy here at a scoreline which could have been more impressive. Half time at the Kingspan Stadium. It's Ulster 11 and Scarlets 0.
Well, it's been enthralling, it's been exciting, it's been fast and furious. Great Pro 12 Ulster Rugby live here on BBC Two. Stephen Ferris and Ian Humphreys have been enjoying what's been a great first 40 minutes of rugby, especially from an Ulster point of view.
Very, very, very entertaining, Stephen. It's been a pleasure to watch them, but myself and Ian are just sitting here saying, yes, we've played a lot of rugby, we've had all the territory, putting the ball in the right position, but it's still only 11-0. It feels like we should be maybe 18, 20 points ahead, and the Scarlets team can be quite dangerous, so you know, we need to keep on our toes second half, but there's a lot to build on there. A lot of great individual performances, great offloading, and in defence have been pretty rock solid, so I can't wait for the second half to kick off already, but I think you'd agree, Humph, it's been a great start.
And much more clinical from Ulster as well.
It has. They've mixed their game very well. Charles has been stepping up a blindside a lot. A lot of the early pressure when Ulster were going blindside back to 15 and attacking the blindside again. It kept James Davies, it kept John Barkley out of the game. They couldn't get the turnovers, and Ulster were keeping possession. And then Paddy's been mixing the game brilliantly. His array of kicking, as we'll see later on, has been really good. It's been keeping the Scarlets under pressure and field position, and Ulster built from that.
Let's have a look at the Ulster try. It was perfection, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's from start to finish, but one thing myself and Ian noticed there, they didn't really kick the ball deep later in the first half. They were kicking the ball out, and this is the reason why, because we're such a good counter-attacking team. A few long passes, but Paddy Jackson notices a space, comes back in the inside, great hands, and the big man just takes the contact, rides the contact. Louis Ludwig's there to go over. Great team try.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes from Paddy's kick initially. He was under pressure, great kick down the touchline, and then Ruan puts Jonathan Davies under a lot of pressure with a poor clearance kick. And as Stevie said, I think they changed their tactics because Ulster were carving up whenever they had loose ball kicked to them.
Stuart McCluskey said to the media this week they wanted to prove that Ulster had one of the best backlines in Europe, because the Scarlets have been quite vocal saying how good their backline is. When you looked at some of the Ulster passing tonight, it's been superb, hasn't it?
It has, and I think the quick hands and just recognising space when it's on. There's been a few loose ones. Yes, the game is quite loose, but that's just simple hands putting a man into space. Craig knows he's near the touchline, steps back into his support. We recycle the ball and keep it going. And, you know, to a man, Stephen, I just don't think it's the back line. I think it's, 1 to 15. Every single person who's touching the ball is usually making the correct decisions. And when you make line breaks, you score points, and hopefully they can continue to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. As Stevie said, Robbie Dax has been heavily involved in his carries in midfield, and he's distributing very well. Obviously, Sean Reedy's good with ball in hand as well. So what they've been doing well also in the forwards is they've been taking it to the line and playing the ball out the back, and it's just changing the angles of attack, and the Scarlets have been struggling.
You played alongside Paddy Jackson in the number 10 shirt here at Ulster for many years. What have you made of his performance tonight? It's as if he hasn't been away. He's
been brilliant. I mean, as I said, he's mixed up the passing game and the kicking game. This was his first touch, and he just nails an 80-yard spiral to put them under pressure. His distribution has always been one of his key strengths, and he's getting the chance to put Charles in space, and the back line have been purring tonight. Look at that, that's just a beautiful strike, and all day we knew before the game that the Scarlet set pieces struggled the last couple of weeks, and Ulster have just been piling on the pressure.
That kick reminds me of an old Ian Humphreys back in the day, but no, he's running the game really well, and I think that's what's been missing over the last couple of weeks, is somebody taking charge and taking the game by the scruff of the neck. He's doing that. His kicking out of hand has been unbelievable, perfection, And you know, when the forwards run up there and they're throwing the ball in from a line out and they're only 20 yards away from the line, you know, it builds confidence, builds momentum, and Paddy's having a fantastic game.
And I'd imagine, Stephen, when you were playing games as a forward, when you see your number 10 kicking like that, making you good territory like that, it is very, very encouraging.
It is, but also as well in phase play, he's taking the ball to the line, he's making the defenders make the wrong decisions, as we've seen, putting the ball into space when it's on out the back, and everybody just seems to know what they're doing a bit more this week, where the last couple of weeks it's been a little bit stop-start and just keeping the momentum of the game. He's been absolutely a joy to watch tonight.
And both sides have had their fair share of success at the breakdown, which we thought was going to be a key area tonight.
Yeah, I think you can see that Ulster have been putting a lot of pressure on the Scarlets, and Rob Herring in particular. He gets this one and he gets the other one in below the post, and that's where Ulster were so strong at hooker with Rob and Rory, obviously. And then just in midfield here, Stuart McCluskey fights to get over the ball, and it's just been a real battle. Obviously, Scarlets had a bit of joy there as well, but it's a good night. Ball's been kept in play a lot. Teams have been keeping possession, and this is a key turnover from Rob to make that tackle and get back on his feet. Saves a certain 7 points.
Is that an area of the game Ulster could tighten up a bit, Stephen?
I think so, but to a man, they're all putting in their tackles. Not too many missed tackles, which is good. Joe Barracat will be pretty pleased with that. I just think they need to be a little bit more physical. So when they do make a positive tackle, that there's a couple of guys way in behind them, and they try and make it into a turnover. And if they can do that, hopefully they'll have a bit more ball in the second half as well.
Charles Piatai, what have you made of him tonight, Ian?
You hear the crowd every time he gets the ball. There's massive
lights the place
anticipation.
up, doesn't he?
He does indeed, and a night like tonight suits him. Scarlets like to play it loose. Ulster have been spreading the ball around lovely, and he's just such a threat, and his distribution is very good as well. So, as I said, he stepped up at first receiver a lot of times in the blind, and not many people bump Jonathan Davies like that, and the ball never dies. He's constantly looking for that offload and constantly looking to put others into space.
It's great to watch, because everybody always used to ask me, Stevie, why do you take contact? Why do you take contact? Because you can bump somebody off and get the ball away. And now look at this here. You know, it's just it's a joy to watch, and hopefully more of the same. But when he's got space, he's got the step, he's got the pace. And speaking of Johnny Davis, you know, about his top end speed, you know, he's running 9.9 meters per second, and you know, when a guy with the stepping ability like that and the passing ability that he has, he's going to cause havoc.
But he's got 15 on his back tonight, but at times he almost played as if he had a 6 on his back.
Yeah, big Nick Williams, except I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, except a few stone lighter. But look at that there, that's the pillar, or 10 as Ulster would call it, and he's just stepped inside him, left him for dead. But that's what he brings. That's why he's getting paid the big money. That's why the crowd love him, and you know, long may it continue for the rest of the season.
It certainly didn't take him long to become a crowd favourite. Let's just pause there for a moment and join Gavin Andrews pitch side.
Stephen, thank you. Paul Marshall is alongside me. Paul, first of all, what's the state of play with that injury?
Yeah, sort of took a rib cartilage injury a couple of weeks ago, so hopefully in the next week or two, hopefully next week, I'll be available anyway.
Frustrating not to be out there. That's going to be a scrum half stream out conditions tonight.
Yeah, the conditions are fantastic. The pitch isn't great, Nick, this season, and obviously both teams are trying to move the ball around a bit, so it's an exciting game to watch.
How exciting is that Ulster backline at the moment? Because when it's good, it is spectacular, isn't it?
It's incredible, to be honest. Whenever you look at the guys that are sitting upstairs that aren't available to play yet, and the guys that are out there performing so well, it's fantastic. And obviously there's going to be some tough decisions for coaches whenever everybody's available, but that'll hopefully breed success and everyone will put pressure on each other.
The big news, I suppose, at the start of this season, Ruan Pinar leaving at the end of the season. How much has he helped your development in your time at Ulster? 11 seasons, I think, now here.
Yeah, so he's obviously had a massive impact as a player, but I think as well people maybe don't appreciate the impact he's had off the pitch, and he's bought into the culture his family have, and he's obviously a fantastic player, and I think I've developed under him being here as well, and I'm a better player now than I was a few seasons ago, so hopefully it's been a good thing for Ulster generally.
11 seasons for you, I suppose, with Ruan Pinar going, it's a big opportunity for you as well.
Yeah, look, obviously there's a lot of guys that are going to be chomping at the bit. We don't know exactly what's going to happen next year, so obviously Bryn and other guys will be trying to sort out different positions and who's available, so we'll see who's around next year, but certainly whoever's here will definitely be busting to get a game.
Have you noticed the influence of Charles Piatai in this time?
He's fantastic. Like, he is properly world class. his ability to make space for himself and make space for others is like nothing I've seen before, and he's very, very physical, as you see as well. So he's got a complete skill set, and he's actually just fitted in seamlessly into the whole team environment. He's been brilliant.
Do you see Ulster kicking on in the second half?
I hope so. I do. I think we played that first half really, really well. I think it's the best we've played this season. The interplay, the offloading was fantastic, and if we can keep Jacko and Ruin and other guys are getting us in the right areas, so hopefully if we can keep that pressure on, we'll get more points.
Looking forward to seeing you out there a week or two's time.
Well, hopefully.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, one try for Ulster in the first half. Maybe disappointed they didn't get more. Looking ahead to the second half, Stephen, what would you like to see Ulster do more of?
Well, I don't think, that the Scarlets are going to keep kicking the ball to them over and over again. They're going to kick the ball out and probably attack their set piece a little bit more. But there's a couple of times we were in the green zone and we just forced an offload, and then there was a turnover. We just need a little bit more patience. Take another 3 points, and then when it's a 2-3 score game, the Scarlets will be out the gate. Hopefully, that's what I'd like to see. But we just need to keep building pressure, more and more, multi-phase, keep going through the phases, tiring them out, and we get an opportunity, we strike.
Despite Ulster's dominance at times, Ian, the scoreline tells a different story, and the Scarlets are still very much in this game.
Yeah, they are, and I think it's key that Ulster score first in the second half. As Stevie said, Scarlets have been defending most of the half, so they will tire. Henderson to come off the bench, Robert Little to come off the bench. All of a sudden, that's a big impact. And if we can then take advantage of it and hopefully put up a few more scores, then I could see Ulster scoring 3 tries in the second half.
Yeah, nice to see Ian Henderson back, get a run second half, I'm sure, Stephen.
Yeah. If I was him sitting on the bench, I'd be like, I cannot wait to get out there. It's an open game. You'll get your hands on the ball quite a lot. He's a ball carrier. He's physical. But he's also a finisher, as we've seen last season. So I expect him to get a good half an hour in him tonight, and get him going for the rest of the season.
And hopefully Jackson can continue to keep the pressure on the Scarlets and keep them on the back foot.
And that's exactly it. The key is not to get too loose. You put Scarlets back deep in their half, and they've seen that they can't exit very well. They've struggled set piece, whether it be scrum or line out, and that's the case of building the pressure, and then the tries will come.
Yeah, set piece for Ulster has been good, Stephen. And the last couple of weeks, the scrum for the Scarlets has been creaking.
Yeah, Big Rodney's come in. I know he was out for a week or two, but he's fine. He's back in. He carries the ball a lot too, so he's going to get tired. And I think the boys coming off the bench are going to have a massive impact. To be honest, all you need up front is parity. When you've got a back line like ours and they want the ball, you just get parity, give the ball to them and let them cut loose. I'd like to see the ball in charge Piatai's hands a bit more in the second half.
I would imagine we're going to see plenty of that second half with Piatai.
Yeah, I would imagine so. They've shown that they've been getting a lot of joy out wide. Gilroy and Louis Ludick have been making busts for fun, so get the ball in Charles' hands and trust his decision making. He's proved that he's world class, as Marshy said at half time.
But the Scarlets, of course, with a very dangerous back row, Stephen, and they will need to be kept under control because there's still plenty of talent there to win plenty of ball for the Welsh.
There is, and that's what we just need to go through multi-phase and keep the pressure on and keep their two flankers out of the game. I think that they've been their 2 best players, and keep them out of the game, and hopefully we can get the ball recycled and get it to our back line and hopefully score a few more tries.
Stephen, Ian, thank you very much indeed. Let's hope the second half is as good as the first, and let's rejoin Tony and Jim.
Thank you, Stephen. Well, a cursory glance, I think, indicates that the only change from the 15s that finished the half is that Ulster have brought on Ian Henderson. That is not Ian Henderson, and that is not Ian Henderson. 2 former Methodist College colleagues, Paddy Jackson and Craig Gilroy. But the big man formerly of Belfast Royal Academy has come on for Clive Ross to play number 6. Clive Ross has had a pretty good start to the season. Paddy Jackson gets us underway.
Backwards.
Good challenge there. Knocked backwards, said the referee.
Stay on your feet, Whites. The Whites got
Ulster told to stay on their feet. Robbie Dack is there. Looking to see Ian Henderson just poised to make his first tackle, and that is his first tackle. Straight into action, and what a great carry by the big man. Took the Scarlets ball carrier back into the 22. Referee gives the penalty against Ulster. So not just the start that Ulster would have wanted.
Slightly over-enthusiastic, Jim, maybe from Ian Henderson, and who can blame him, but his first impact was huge. Picked the man up and drilled him back on his feet, and then just guilty maybe of coming in round the side, but he expects a lot. He's missed a a lot of last season with injury, and he is absolutely champing at the bit to get back in this white shirt.
And let's not forget that Scarlets have started the second half with just 14 men. Jake Ball was sin-binned about 5 or 6 minutes before the interval, maybe a bit less. So there's a fair old bit to go. Henderson in with the tackle, and he took his man backward, and then he didn't release him on the ground. James Davis. Rob Herring with the tackle on Steph Evans. Play on. Ulster have stolen that one, I think. Good pick up and drive by the energetic Robbie Dyack. Pienaar. Liam Williams comes across. In fact, it's Alan Thomas who does not look unlike him.
Once again, Jim, that's fantastic work by Rob Herring at the breakdown. Such a low centre of gravity, making the turnover again. Henderson joining him on this occasion, and it's Pienaar just picking and placing the box kick with aplomb.
It's going to be a Scarlets throw, however. Ken Owens, everything has gone with throw so far. No real pressure put on by either side at the line-out. Gareth Davis. That's gone into touch, and it's going to be an Ulster throw. Craig Gilroy thought about a quick one, changed his mind.
That's been very much the nature of the Ulster performance this evening, hasn't it? Looking for something all the time. Players have worked extremely hard off the ball. The work rate's been so high. They just want to play rugby. They want to play ball and hand rugby, and it's great to see.
O'Connor wins it. Pienaar. McCluskey. Makes good ground. Pienaar. Oh, well taken by Jackson. Piatow with Ludick outside him. Couldn't get the pass away. Well, that really might have been try number 2 for Ulster and try number 2 for Louis Ludick.
Could have and should have. I'm not sure whether Charles just pulled the trigger here without having a look, but again, so unselfish of him, ball in 2 hands. Just didn't look, Jim, went for the no-look pass, and all he had to do was fix eyes on Ludick, and that was a simple 5 points.
He was trying to fix his opponent with a stare. Scarlets have won the ball. Davis. Down to Ludick. Now it's Piatow. Gilroy with holding outside him. Needs to give it. Decides to have a cut himself. Oh, what a handoff. Gilroy still going. Handed off Jonathan Davis with ease. Jackson again. Rodney Ayew straightens it all up. Barrels into the 22. Jackson. Cleverly done. Now Piatow. Better wasn't a better pass this time. Well, Charles, what are you doing? 2 hiders in a row. Right out 50 times, I must be more accurate with my passing.
That's almost champagne rugby, though, from Ulster, Jim, isn't it? Balls just being moved effortlessly from side to side. Fantastic break by Gilroy again. High step, picks and goes, takes the outside shoulder, hand off, stays in field. But again, look at the quick support, outside backs. Stuart Oldingan over the ball, and again, yeah, it's a slack pass from Piatow. One would have expected that to be right in the bread basket rather than down round the knees.
Don't chuck them back, and you won't be as low, and it won't be as difficult to hold. Okay?
Ben Whitehouse having another stern word with the respective front rows.
Balance and height, please.
Scarlets have moved Big Lewis Rowlands, playing his first game of the season, into the second row. He normally can play at lock forward. He's about 6'6".
Crouch.
25 minutes gone, no change at the scoreboard.
Just come over the mark.
Jake Ball will be coming on pretty soon for the Scarlets to get them back up to their full complement of 15.
Sock over the mark, okay? Crouch.
The Scarlets have put Hadley Parks on the blind side of the scrum to act as a flanker.
Set. Hold.
Big shot by Ulster.
Feet. Straight down.
Ulster going off their feet and going down to the ground. Callum Black, the man penalised. Oh, Patchell's angled that very nicely indeed. Well, the voice in the studio, Tony, at half-time said that, and particularly Ian Humphries said it was important that Ulster scored first. They very nearly did, but not quite.
Yeah, they threatened Jim on a couple of occasions in his opening 5 minutes. And
keep elbow, okay?
From an Ulster perspective, I think the first score, as Ian said, is all important. You do get the feeling that if the Scarlets are just, to get some points on the board, they may feel as if there's a way back into it, and they're more than capable as well.
Ken Owens. Straightforward ball, won by Jake Ball. Patchell. Liam Williams, they put in a most wonderful tackle on Craig Gilroy at the end of that first half.
Thank you, stay back.
Quick ball now by the men in blue. Patchell again. Jake Ball with a 10-minute rest either side of the interval. Davis, Patchell. Taken on by the Springbok Werner Kruger. Ball has gone loose.
Blue ball.
But the Scarlets have snaffled it. Ulster came in from the wrong side. Silly penalty to give away by Ian Henderson. Have they let Gareth Davis go the 10 metres? No, they haven't. And that's could probably cost Ulster 3 points should the Scarlet go for the post.
Yeah, we would imagine at this stage of proceedings, 11 points down, and they really haven't had a sniff of any points, bar Reece Patchell's bad miss in the first half. Jim, they'll take the 3 if it's on offer. And Ian Henderson again, just slightly over-exuberant at breakdown. Ball comes loose, and there's almost a slide kick around it. In fairness to Henderson, you could possibly argue there's nothing actually set up there. It's a tackle situation.
Was the ball out?
Ball was potentially out as well. So, there wasn't a ruck as such. So maybe he's entitled to come in where he wants to there, as long as it's from the back foot. Perhaps the referee saying that he didn't come in from the right side.
Well, he missed with the first penalty chance of the game. 4 minutes into the first half, and here 4 minutes into the second half. Reece Patchell makes no mistake. And the gap is now down to 8 points. So a well-struck penalty by Reece Patchell. Scarlets on the board for the first time. Nearly 48 minutes played. It's 11-3 now to Ulster.
Yeah, 11-3, and one would say it's hardly a fair reflection on where the game has been, but don't rule the Scarlet side out. They are dangerous, specifically on the counter-attack. Important from an Ulster perspective now. They spend some time in the Scarlets' half and they aim to get back on the scoreboard.
Good strike by Jackson. Taken in by Steph Evans. Henderson with the tackle. Well set up by the Scarlets. Patchell taken inside the 22. Gilroy to, in fact it was Jackson to Piatow. Gets the legs pumping. Alan O'Connor. Rodney Ayew taken off at the ankles. Pienaar, now Jackson. Stu Olding. Dragons' defence better organised in this second half than it was in the first. Jackson onto the left foot. What a good kick. Just realised that his right foot was going to be redundant in that situation. Used the left nicely.
Yeah, used the left beautifully, and something that we haven't really been accustomed to seeing either. Perhaps in last season, Jim, he would have tried to open his body up and put that back on the right, but such is his level of confidence. He's happy just to pop it in the left, and once again, inch perfect. As has been the performance tonight.
Straightforward line out win by the Scarlets. Lewis Rawlins took it at the back. This is a good drive by the visiting pack. Brown's got to get himself back on side. What a drive by the Scarlets. Davis calls for it. Referee says that's okay, keep going, and they've made some 30 metres and they get the penalty. Now that's a serious confidence boost for the Scarlets.
Yeah,
and Ulster can't allow them to get their tails up.
No, that's going 20 metres, and I think Peter Brown probably did the right thing from an Ulster perspective, Jim. He took the penalty. You see him just spirals round, but they stay connected so well. Ulster just sliding off the side, and great control from Ken Owens at the back. And I think Peter Brown maybe did the right thing and just took one for the team there.
No, you are matching them, okay? Don't fall. If you stay where you are, I go.
Well, Ben Whitehouse spotted what Peter Brown did and has had a word with him. Ross Kane going to come on at tight head prop for Rodney Ayew. Well won at the front. Liam Williams runs into Sean Reedy. Williams makes it available. Patchell. This is better stuff from the Scarlets. Jonathan Davis. Oh, that's great strength by the British and Irish Lion. Davis, Patchell, looking more promising now for the men in blue. Hadley Parks, Liam Williams, Ken Owens, the skipper. Out wide to Rawlings, who is enormous. Here come the Scarlets again. Front row coming into play. Good tackling by Ulster. That was forward. Ulster get the scrum. Werner Kruger
just hasn't been
has left the field for the Scarlets. I beg your pardon, and the veteran Peter Edwards has come on.
It just hasn't been Jake Bull's night, Jim, has it? He's been in the bin, a couple of penalties, and again that Ulster line speed in his face causing the fumble. One to forget for him so far.
9.
Liam Williams, who was in such good form in last year's World Cup before sustaining a nasty injury.
It's not going forward. Let's make sure we use it straight away, okay? Not giving it a chance to go to death, which we did in the first half.
Wonderful night here at the Kingspan Stadium. Pitch perfect. James Laird and the staff again keeping it quite beautiful. I think, like most groundsmen, they don't want anybody to play on it. They'd rather just look at it and nurture it and cosset it and get the scissors out to it and trim it and mark it out.
It looks like that sort of pitch you can imagine somebody with a pair of scissors just short back and sides. It's absolutely pristine.
Well, this game is still very much in the balance. Scarlets first to score after half-time. Ulster will need to respond.
Don't check them back. Crouch. Bind.
Rodney Ayew against Willie Jones on this near side. Also getting a bit of a squeeze on.
Use it.
It's not a bad scrum. Pienaar. Jackson. Well, he's found a pretty decent touch. Would have liked maybe another 10 or 15 metres on that, but Ulster will settle for that.
Okay.
But it is going to be a Scarlets throw.
3 white. Sub. Wait, make the sub. Time is off.
Rodney Ayew leaves the field, and Ross Kane comes on for his third Ulster cap. Got a bit of a bang with a heavy tackle last week in Treviso, but has recovered well. Great prospect, this young man.
Yeah, it certainly is, and decent performance from Rodney Ayew this evening, Jim. I think he's definitely got a better of his opposite number, Wyn Jones.
Hadley Parks spiraled out of the first tackle. Gareth Davis, Jonathan Davis. Oh, Patchell ran a very nice angle there and very nearly got away. Well, one on the ground by the Scarlets. Here's Jake Ball. Nice little transfer. Liam Williams, as ever, still there for the Scarlets. Good tackling by Stuart Olding. Davis taken on by Edwards, the replacement. 36 years of age now. Here comes Patchell. This is nice stuff. Robbie Dyack working hard at the breakdown, making life difficult for the Scarlets. Patchell. Intercept, not quite.
Try to get it. Playing advantage.
Referee's playing advantage for the knock forward. That's Hadley Parks. Quite grateful for the break. And that's bumped into one of the Scarlets officials.
She's trying to run on the 3 players.
One of the medical staff, one of the physios.
Yeah. Who? Blue.
Certainly tactically a lot more direct from Scarlets, Jim, in the second half. They're taking these short runners off 9, inside runners off 10. Trying to hold that inside Ulster defence, rather than the first half. It was very side to side, and the soft drift could pick them up quite easily. But Ulster's line speed subsequently has dropped off. They're not manning up the way they were in the first half. They haven't missed any first up tackles, but certainly there's none of those big double teams that we saw in the first stanza.
Scott Williams has come on, and Alan Thomas has gone off, so Liam Williams will go to full-back. Hadley Parks will move out to the right wing. So it's Davis and Williams, an all-international pairing in the middle of the park. Next score is crucial, Tony.
Very much so, and Scarlets certainly have had the ascendancy in the last 10 minutes, and whenever you bring on someone like Scott Williams in midfield, and as you say, tag him together with Jonathan Davies, it's very, very potent.
I can see Franco van der Merwe warming up for Ulster on the far side of the field, but first of all, Ulster have to try to put some pressure on the Scarlet scrum. It's a good squeeze by Ulster. John Barkley on the narrow side, taken by Pienaar. Henderson gathers. Pienaar's outside his 22. Gives it to Alan O'Connor to set it up to give Jackson a better angle. Pienaar thinking about the near side. That is a great kick. Gilroy jumps, it's gone loose. Liam Williams taken by Sean Reedy. Williams has made him foot court. He is immensely strong and he's done well. Taken on by David Bulbring. Scarlets on halfway, but perhaps not for long. Ken owns the skipper up to halfway. Davis, Patchell. John Barkley, well tackled by Sean Reedy. Davis again, quicker ball now for the Scarlets. That's gone loose. Pienaar. Jackson. Well, the advantage was there for Ulster, so Jackson perhaps wasn't all that bothered where it went, although knowing him, I expect he was.
Yeah, that's the first mistake he's really made all evening, and Gilroy chasing so well with ball in the air and so competitive the way he gets himself off the ground. Makes it very, very difficult for the defending player, but also just get a chance to regroup. James, see a couple of players down. Pete Brown came on last week in Treviso and made a big impact in the second half, and he's going well again this evening. He's about to be replaced by Franco van der Merwe.
Franco van der Merwe, the South African international, comes on for Peter Brown, who's had another good evening's work in the engine room for Ulster.
Yeah.
I think Franco will be coming on, Jim, with the intention and the words of saying, look, let's just regroup this, let's just pull things in a little bit, go back to the basics.
Well, you can see him coming in and talking to everybody, bringing all that experience with him.
Marks up. Yeah.
15 and a half minutes gone on Ulster scrum.
He'll also give a little bit of extra impetus to Ross Kane, the young Ulster tight head.
You see Luke Marshall about to come on as well, so Ulster bringing on internationals. Pienaar as ever just scanning to see his options.
Bind. Set. Hold.
It's a good scrum by Ross Kane.
Use it.
Dyack, Pienaar. Bit of zip now from Ulster. Jackson, Piatau. Gilroy gets away.
Ball's out.
Leaves it behind him. Kicked into touch. Should be an Ulster line-out.
It's come off.
Here's Luke Marshall having a word with Rory Best, who's we mentioned earlier, champing at the bit to get back into his beloved white jersey.
I'll get it as soon as I know.
Just a final little stretch.
Look. Lads, gentlemen, take a step.
Also need to get back into the groove.
On the line. Hold the line.
Good take, Pienaar. Scarlets up very quickly. McCluskey. Tackled by James Davis. Pienaar. Oh, that is a teaser. Well taken by Gilroy. Oh, he's done well. Can he make it? Oh, great defending by the Scarlets. That very nearly was another try for Craig Gilroy. What a jump.
Beautiful set piece move. Both the tail of the line out off the top. McCluskey again with that target, but we just talked about Gilroy and how good he is in the air onto the ball going forward. He did everything to get the ball down. Great positioning by the referee, but Gilroy, that's quite superb.
Scarlets have been penalised. As Craig Gilroy thought he was over the line, I thought he was over the line. Liam Williams, guess who's in the middle of all that? Gareth Davis is in there. And I think it might have been David Bulbring went off his feet, went onto his knees before he made contact. That gave away the penalty. So decision time for Ulster and for Rob Herring.
Okay.
And don't be surprised if they go into the corner, Tony, and go for that drive, which has yielded tries in the first 2 league games so far this season.
Yeah, the line-out's been successful this evening, Jim. Perhaps they haven't had the potency at the driving maul, which they've had in the opening 2 games, but Van der Merwe will bring a different asset to that, as will Ian Henderson. But the back line has been so potent. The issue you have as a back line in this situation is that because they're so close to the opposition goal line, it's basically man on defence. There's no extra man to create any room, so perhaps catch and drive through the forwards and then try to create some space off that.
Liam Williams seems to be fine again. Scarlets look like they might be bringing on replacement scrum half Alan Davis, but no sign of Luke Marshall coming on. Alan Davis is coming on, and off goes his namesake, Gareth Davis. So Ulster have gone for the scrum.
There's a big blindside as well here, and the way that Gilroy's been stepping and spinning, at the minute he's standing directly behind the scrum, which would potentially indicate that he's going to come and inject himself in the back line. But perhaps there's a ruse on, and that's going to actually create some space with a late slide going down the Ulster right-hand side.
Most important scrum of the game for Ulster. In from Pinar.
Use it!
Referee says use it. Ulster try to move forward. It's slow. Dayak picks up and has a go himself. Needs a little bit of help. Ulster half a metre away.
No hands.
James Davis told to get out of it. Ross Kane. A lot of blue shirts and fringing. Still there for Ulster. They're driving for the line. Only half a metre away. On comes the referee to have a good look. Coming back on the Ulster side now.
No hands, blue.
Pinar gets the pause in.
Trapped in there.
Ulster
Legs
moving
everywhere.
forward. It's going to be another Ulster
Legs
scrum,
and bodies everywhere.
but it's only, well, a couple of metres from the Scarlets post.
Yeah, it's a great scramble by the Scarlets, because quick ball there, and if Ulster had shipped that right, Gilroy could have walked in. The Scarlets have defended manfully in there. They've really put their body in the line. Ian Humphreys made the point at half-time that Barkley and John Davies were their 2 best players, and James Davies were their 2 best players, and that's continued in the second
This is your
half.
last chance, okay? I called use it. He was there for a good few seconds after I called it. It's there, it's under your feet. You get it away from there. It'll be a turnover next time if it isn't done, okay?
Well, Ben Whitehouse, I think, is giving Robbie Dayak a bit of a telling off. He says, when I say use it, I want you to use it. And you mentioned the point in the first half that Ulster holding the ball a little bit too long at the back of the scrum.
Yeah, potentially, but you have to remember, Jim, if the number 8's head is between the 2 second rows, and with the noise in here as well, that potentially may be difficult for Dayak to pick up.
But yeah, that's fine, that's fine. Let's just have a gap.
Ulster have options on either side of this scrummage.
Sorry, boys. Let's go. Just make sure we have that gap. Hang on. Lads, oh.
There's a stoppage, don't think
Excuse
there's
me?
an injury.
Come here. You come on when there's an injury. You do not pass tactical. You do not pass tactical advice on. Okay.
Well, that's a bit of a roasting for Ulster senior physio Gareth Robinson. A little cynical grin there. He was passing a bit of info on, which was a naughty boy. That will not endear Ulster to the referee for doing that. Man shielding his eyes is Peter Jackson, father of Patrick, or Paddy as we know him.
Bind. Set.
Lewis Rawlins on the near side of the Scarlets flank. Penalty to Ulster. Now what do they do here, Tony? Do they take the points and get the gap back to 11?
Well, there's still a score ahead, Jim. So, you know, in terms of what's here, I think Rob Herring looks like he's going to go scrum again, and the scrum's performed well this evening. Gives you a good platform. He made a great point earlier in terms of where they're sitting, and the alignment of which the backs are taking. Really defensively, you have no idea where it's going to.
Coming up to the end of the third quarter of this game. Ulster 11-0 up at the interval. Try by Louis Ludick, a couple of penalties by Paddy Jackson. Back in the Scarlets at the start of this second half with a penalty by Rhys Patchell. Another great attacking scrum. Oh dear. Ross Kane penalised for taking it down. And hindsight's a wonderful thing, Tony, but the 3 points, well, Who
He's
knows?
looking for it.
Will Ulster
He is looking for
live
the
to regret
penalty.
this one?
Well, potentially, Jim, and that, as you say, hindsight, just in this occasion goes it's the wrong decision from their point of view. But give some credit to the Scarlets in terms of the squeeze that they put on there. Young Ross Keane just not able to take the body weight coming through and just drop that outside shoulder.
You're in there and you're coming under.
Well, they'll be mightily relieved now, the Scarlets.
Good.
Good challenge by Ulster at the front. Tied it in by
Happy? Play on.
the ever-present James Davis.
There's the ball, it's on the deck, it's a run.
Alan Davis,
Use it.
no relation. Well, that's a good kick. Well taken by Gilroy, who's been terrific in the air.
No hands.
Ulster need a quick ball here.
First chance.
Kane at scrum half. Henderson. Inside his own half. Pienaar. Jackson.
Backwards,
McCluskey.
backwards.
Play on, says the referee, it went backward. Jackson
Tackle,
managed to
release.
regather. Ulster won it, but the momentum has slowed. O'Connor gets past the first tackle.
A chance is cleared.
Pienaar is not getting it away just so cleanly as he would like. That's down to good work by the men in blue. Now Pienaar again. Sean Reedy. Ulster still inside their own half. Jackson, can they change that? Piatow. Well, no way through, taken by Barkley and by Scott Williams.
Good. It's a ruck now.
We chance in this near side, good pass. Gilroy gets it away to Robbie Dyack. He's well held. Scarlets tackler must move, it was Ken Owens. Jackson. Scarlets really tackling well. Callum Black nearly lost the jersey to David Bulbring. Jackson. Ludick. Franco van der Merwe, the Lone Ranger out on the wing. Pienaar again. Jackson, all a bit flat. McCluskey. Piatow. Does he see a mismatch there? Well, if he did, he didn't play it. Alan O'Connor. Now it's Piatow. McCluskey outside him. Gilroy. Foot on the gas. Cross halfway. Oh, Gilroy's been playing so well. Earned himself a recall to Irish colours in South Africa this summer. Jackson flat. Franco van der Merwe. Ulster starting to build. Pienaar runs into Jake Ball. Herring at scrum half. Jackson. Stuart Olding. Scarlets making life tough for Ulster. Well taken by Reedy. Now it's away to Louis Ludick. Good ground made by the man who's played over 80 games in Super Rugby back in his native South Africa. Jackson. Alan O'Connor. Good clean out by Ulster. Pienaar. Jackson. Olding. Did well to take it. Still no sign of Luke Marshall coming on. He's been standing at the sidelines for about 10 minutes now. Callum Black.
Leave it.
Jackson. Gilroy. Spirals out of the first tackle. Still there for Ulster. McCluskey. Offload to O'Connor. This is better. Needs a bit of help. Gets it now from Herring. Looking for his third try in successive games. And right at the death, Ulster yet again, when all the hard work
straight on the ball
in terms of approach is done, give away the penalty.
And it's John Barkley in this occasion, Jim, and Ulster probed and searched and then eventually get the way through, but you do have to admire the Scarlets' defence, keeping that line intact. Again, back to the first half from what Ulster were doing well, offloading, but look at Barkley, straight over the ball. Ruan Pienaar there is the first attacking Ulster player to the ruck, and he's just unable to get him out of there. Big wide base from Barkley, straight on the ball, perfectly legal, correct decision.
13. Stop. 13?
Yeah,
13.
so Stuart Olding is going off, and Luke Marshall is coming on, and I think Andrew Warwick is coming on as well.
Rory, pull him. One, sub.
So one Irish international centre for another. Luke Marshall on for his 85th Ulster appearance. Meanwhile, Rhys Patchell with 16 minutes remaining finds a good touch.
10 metre, please. 10 metre.
It's such a galaxy of riches that Ulster have at their disposal, Jim, and in the back line, isn't it? You know, so many attacking weapons. Defence maybe target one or two, but really everywhere you look in this Ulster back line is a major threat.
Good take of the line-up by Bulbring for the Scarlets, and they're trying that forward drive which worked so well at the start of this second half. Ulster digging in. Alan Davis, the replacement scrum half, and again he kicks, and again it's a tasty one. Gathered in by Charles Piatow. Knocked forward by the Scarlets. Advantage to Ulster, and stolen by the Scarlets. So not good work by the home side at the breakdown. Patchell gets it away. Jonathan Davis, always dangerous. Thought about the pass, so this is nicely done to Scott Williams. And Liam Williams gets in there as well. A lot of talent in this Scarlets backline. Ken Owens, the skipper. Stuart McCluskey is down and doesn't look wonderful. Patchell. That's nicely done. Hadley Parks. This could be dangerous for Ulster. Out wide it goes. Good defending by Ulster. Steph Hughes, I think it was, the replacement, has come on. Bulbring. A Scarlets try now could make this game very interesting. Back in the Scarlets side, Jonathan Davis will have a go himself. Andrew Warwick, the replacement prop, with the tackle. Patchell looks for a gap, which was well closed by Ulster. Alan Davis knocked forward. Franco van der Merwe steals it. Ross Kane. Referee still playing advantage. McCluskey seems to be up. Piatow sets it up for Ulster.
Use it.
Pinar. Luke Marshall in the outside half position. Well kept in by Liam Williams. Now it's Scott Williams. James Davis outside him. Davis gets it away, the 7 specialist. Here comes Steph Hughes. This is great stuff by the Scarlets. It's going to be a Scarlet try. Intercepted by Piatow. That should have been a Scarlet try. Here goes Gilroy. I don't think anybody's going to get Gilroy. Liam Williams, little chip. Well, I think there's a bit of a dive there from Gilroy. Play on, says the referee. Back goes Patchell. Pinar holds him up. And Paddy Jackson is there. And they'll come all the way back for the knock forward. Well, he wanted to have another look at that, I think, Ben Whitehouse, to see if there was a genuine infringement. That should have been a Scarlets try.
It should have been a Scarlets try. Decisions on either hand, and he chose the inside line, and Piatow gambled and won. Again, comes out of the fence and hit Gilroy, who streaks up the right-hand touchline. Liam Williams again, Jim on the cover, coming inside. Gilroy chips round him, and although Williams makes no effort to play Gilroy with arms, he leaves a latent body there, just enough to deflect him and knock him over. It'll be interesting to see this in the slow motion.
Okay, just coming, Ben.
Rob Little is coming on for Ulster. May well be that Charles Piatow leaves us, or is it Louis Ludick? No, he's actually on. He's actually on for McCluskey.
Just coming, Ben.
McCluskey's gone off injured. There's that little chip. Did he leave the derriere behind?
Potentially. I think all he has done there is basically just stopped running. Has he blocked them deliberately? Has he deliberately ran into him and shoulder charged him? I don't think so. But
The first angle.
I don't think you'd give a penalty for that now. A little chip by Gilroy. He stayed there.
He's just done enough to
leave his backside behind.
John, please.
Tough call for the TMO, Charles Sampson.
He certainly made more of an area for Gilroy to run inside. He's impeded his direct line of running, but
this is the way
well, the more you look at it,
no, exactly. He's done it very well. He's done it very skillfully, hasn't
14 hasn't stepped in his way. He hasn't tried to chuck a leg out. He hasn't done anything else. Am I missing anything there?
Not at all, Ben. Spot on.
Okay, so we're going to go for a knock-on. Nothing there.
No penalty there.
Knock-on by blue 10, just where
TMO, Charles Sampson, and referee Ben Whitehouse in concert.
No foul play. Knocked on the ground.
Tried looking for the penalty. Actually, the man who came on for the Scarlets was the flank forward, Will Boyd, wearing number 20.
Williams is a classy defender, Jim. You need to be able to just do enough there to get away with that. But let's rewind to the first half, and he also, the try-saving tackle he put in the first half as well, coming across from the right wing, did the same on this occasion, and
Make
it's
sure
Gilroy once again who he
It
stops.
isn't on the arm. What's the arm bind there, Shane?
Just about 13 minutes remaining and only 8 points between them, but Ulster in the right part of the field as far as they're concerned. Another big scum for Ulster. Gave a penalty away at the last one. That's a bit better now. Dark has been told to let it go, and he does let it go. Luke Marshall has a dart. Makes good ground. Still going, Luke Marshall. And a spill forward.
22.
Knocked over the Scarlets line by Ulster, and that's a 22 dropout. Well, Ulster had chances to score 2, 3, maybe 4 tries.
Yeah, potentially. Here we see the repeat of that pick by Piatai, and away he goes. But Luke Marshall on that occasion, Jim, possibly just guilty of going that half metre too far. He had got to ground.
He's got himself hurt, I think, Tony, I have to say.
Just tried to nibble that extra yard, and then perhaps he would have been better advised just to
we'll take as much
take
time
where he
as
had
we
gone
need,
to,
no
turn the body, and ensure that the ball comes back.
Yeah, Gareth Robinson straight in there, and Luke Marshall had a real go at the line, and he's got himself hurt, I think. He's not much in the way of movement there.
Potentially a couple of minutes here, yeah.
Elsewhere, Cardiff just hanging on. That would certainly do Ulster a bit of a favour.
Head, neck
and
injury.
Having been 8-0 down, Leinster have come back with a vengeance and are leading Leinster. Leinster leading Edinburgh by 26 points to 8. Well, that's not looking good at all for Luke Marshall.
Who's the 6?
And remember, Stuart McCluskey's off for a blood injury.
6 sub. Oh yeah, God, yeah.
Scarlets are making a change.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for that one. Yeah.
I think it's Lewis Rollins is going off, and that's something you don't want to see on any ground in the world.
Yeah, big start, yeah.
And Marshall's had, well, a problem or two in the past with head injuries. And this is him going for the line. He was held up, and he had another go himself, and then he was dumped on his head. He came down on his head and his neck.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of an impact just with James Davies. I don't think there's anything sinister in it, Jim. And
no, I don't think so. He just went to the ground head first and shoulder first, and I think he twisted his neck on the way down. And you were talking about the plethora of midfield players that Ulster have, but they don't want to lose anybody, especially not like this.
No, and certainly not given the way that all of them have performed this evening. And Angus Lloyd will be the man that comes on the pitch, Jim. Scrum half signed from Trinity College Dublin this year, and scrum half by nature, but he'll have to probably perform a role in the wing, one would imagine, with a little bit of a rejig. Maybe Piatai into midfield and Rob Little to fullback.
Well, Piatai's played a lot of rugby at the very highest level in the middle of the park. There's Kiss just passing on instructions.
Oh, they're not making it, okay.
Anxious faces regarding the well-being of Luke Marshall. Well, he's sitting up. He's sitting up, and that's always very encouraging. And I think they may take, they're going to put him on the buggy. He's nodding his head, and he says, "I'm okay," but he's certainly not okay. Is he going to get up? He gets. He's a wee bit on the wobbly side. Well, he's certainly going off, but at least he's up on his feet. And needless to say, he will be assessed straight away and dealt with straight away. Dr. Michael Webb there, Ulster senior medical official, with him, and he's in very good hands. So fingers crossed that he's going to be okay. Looks like he's going to be okay. Luke Garrett, who's on loan from the Dragons, and this is he, has come on for the loosehead prop Wyn Jones. So Luke Garrett on for Wyn Jones for the Scarlets. Number 17 for number 1. Off goes Luke Marshall. 22 dropout for the Scarlets. Just over 12 minutes to go. That was the Angus Lloyd. Congratulations to him on his first senior Ulster appearance. That's not a bad kick. That's well taken by Liam Williams. Aled Davis. This is James Davis, brother of Jonathan, gets it away. Aled Davis again. Reece Patchell Jake Ball. Good tackle by Alan O'Connor. Ulster pinched that one, have they? No, they haven't. Patchell again. Taken on by the veteran Peter Edwards. Ball again. Nobody looking. Ludick wants to be quick. Oh, he's done well, Ludick. He's nabbed Hadley Parks. An Ulster penalty here would just be tickety-boo, but the Scarlets have won it. Liam Williams. Scarlets right on their 22. Referee tells him to use it. Alan Davis. He's kicked well from hand. Pienaar gathers. Now Piatow. Good sidestep by Piatow. Well cleared out by Andy Warwick. Angus Lloyd into scrum half. Jackson. What a good kick.
And that's just what the doctor ordered from Jackson. Also just reaffirming some pitch position, playing it in the right part of the pitch, and nice snappy service from young Angus Lloyd as well there. Whipped that away beautifully.
Well, Angus is looking Rory best. Might see him back in action next week in Glasgow. It's a game you can see live with us here on BBC 2NI. Scarlets throw. Ken Owens, the Scarlets skipper. Well taken by Ball out of Davis. James Davis runs into Ross Kane. Davis again. Ulster will want to try to keep the Scarlets just here, and they've got the penalty. Now, at this stage of the game, Tony, if Ulster are going to do anything other than kick for goal, I will be mightily surprised.
Yeah, well, I think after the way the early penalty went 5-6 minutes ago, very similar, perhaps closer to the line where they took the scrum option and then gave away the penalty. I think 3 is a safe option as Jackson elects to go for the posts.
David Bullring, the man with the ball, but it was his skipper, I think Ken Owens, who went over it, and the right decision has been made. You could go for the corner or go for the scrum when you're maybe looking at a bonus point win at some stage, but not yeah. Oh, that's a very nasty looking nose. I mean, it wasn't great to start with, but it's not even, that hasn't been improved. I think that's broken.
That certainly is broken, and it's it's in a heck of a shape as well.
45 seconds. 45. Seconds.
Well, Ulster haven't scored since 30 minutes into the first half. Here we are now 30 minutes and a bit more into the second half. And Jackson could make life that wee bit more difficult for Scarlets, who have really put it up to Ulster, as they did last time they were here when they won the game. This to restore an 11-point lead. And Jackson obliges. So with about 9 minutes remaining, it's now Ulster 14 and the Scarlets 3.
Yeah, and again, Jim, that's on the back of Jackson's kick to the corner. His kicking out of hand this evening has been absolutely exemplary. Scarlets then win the line out and come midfield, and it's Sean Reedy, classic open side play over the top, making the steal. Jackson knocks over the 3. Just gives Ulster that little bit more of a cushion.
Clever restart kick by Patchell. Won by the Scarlets, who are not finished, I'm sure. Davis, James Davis. First bit of sloppiness from the Scarlets, to be quite honest.
Yeah, look, the way Ulster started in the first 20 minutes, the Scarlets could have rolled over, Jim, and could have been out the gate after 25-30 minutes. They've hung in, they've worked their way back into the game, and they look a much better unit than the team potentially at this stage, which may lose their first 3 games out of 3 in the competition.
Also haven't won 3 out of 3, the first 3 for about 3 or 4 seasons. Franco van der Merwe, a wonderful take by the former Springbok.
First stop.
Angus Lloyd, formerly of Trinity College Dublin, the All-Ireland Division 1B Player of the Year last year. Steph Evans, I should say. Good work by Henderson, putting himself about. Back on the blue side. Patchell. Pienaar gathers it in. Well taken by Ulster and by Angus Lloyd. Good work by the exciting Rob Little. Here's another youngster, Lloyd. Herring. That pay on, says the referee. It went backward from Ulster's captain. Ulster somehow have managed to lose out of the breakdown. Bullring gets it away. Alan Davis, Scott Williams, well tackled by Franco van der Merwe.
Okay, playing advantage.
Knocked forward. Ulster give away the penalty.
19 high, just keep it down. That's it.
High tackle by Ulster and by Franco van der Merwe, which is not like him at all. Patchell for a bit of distance, and what a good kick, my word, that's equally as good as anything Paddy Jackson has done. That is a cracker.
That's a screamer, beautifully timed. And Patchell's a very, very talented individual, Jim, perhaps more known for his elusive running ball in hand and with his kicking skills, but certainly that's out of the top drawer.
Well, that's a big, big, big win for the Cardiff Blues at home to Glasgow. Edinburgh coming back a little bit, but Leinster in command over in Scotland. Ulster in command here.
Out. Good.
But of a wee bit to go. Good drive forward by the visitors. And again, Ulster give away the penalty.
That's two.
And they have to be careful because the referee is not short of an excuse to go for the pocket. Not that he wants to.
Sorry.
That's just a word of warning for Franco van der Merwe. There's 2 penalties in 2 minutes, so his card's been marked.
Well, 11 points between them. If the Scarlets can squeeze something here and convert it, and another try, these are all permutations and combinations. Ken Owens, first of all. That's the first bit done. Jake Ball has taken it. Also need a few more men in behind the ball. And they've got a few more in now. Ross Kane puts the head down. Likewise, Alan O'Connor. Scarlets going for the corner. Ball has come back. Ulster told to leave it alone. Patchell has a dart himself. Tackle was by Sean Reedy. Alan Davis. Jonathan Davis. Ball again. Within touching distance of that Ulster line. Can they shift this? Oh, they've got it wide. It's going to be a try. And it's the replacement flanker. Will Boyd gets over in the corner. And this game is by no means over.
No, it's right back in the melting pot. And well played, Scarlets. Catch and dry. 3-4 phases inside. And just opened up space down the blind side. Robert Little's got a decision to make. And on this occasion, he picks the wrong one. Puts the heat on too quickly. Scarlets find a easy corner, and Will Boyd scoots over in the corner, but we just see Little just shoots some Patchell here and leaves the man outside, and it's a beautifully executed pass, and Boyd scores with ease.
Well, that was a well-taken try by the 21-year-old. Made his debut here in this ground against Ulster at the end of last season. Pieta with the challenge. Patchell off the post. Well, a converted try for the Scarlets would still win this game for them, and we have just over 4 minutes remaining.
Now, it's the Scarlets, Jim, who have made most of the running in the second half, almost a role reversal of where we are in the first half. They've looked good with ball in hand, they've looked a lot more settled, they've been more direct as well, but as the game has progressed, the space is starting to come. Ulster tiring in defence.
Another late change for the Scarlets. Steph Hughes has come on wearing number 23. And off goes his namesake, Steph Evans. So Paddy Jackson gone for length. Jonathan Davis will have a go, no doubt.
Outside.
Alan Davis straight up in the air. Knocked back by Pienaar. Angus Lloyd. Tackled by David Bullbring. Pienaar scrum half. Here's Henderson. Pienaar on the narrow side. Sean Reedy. We've really seen him get up to a gallop this season so far. Alan O'Connor gets across the 10-metre line. Ulster got to keep the lid on this.
Good man.
Andrew Warwick rolled away from the tackle. Lloyd again at scrum half to his captain, Rob Herring.
Nice, hit him out the way.
Good work by Rob Herring. Lloyd looking for a runner. Gets it in the shape of Henderson.
They're up.
Ulster just trying to keep this as tight as possible. Franco van der Merwe again over the 10-metre line.
Support your own body weight.
Lloyd. Sean Reedy. Two and a half minutes to go. Rob Herring. Ulster forcing the Scarlets to make tackle after tackle. Ken Owens on Ian Henderson. Lloyd, Alan O'Connor. Tackled by the veteran prop Peter Edwards, wearing 18. Jackson, Piatow. Gets across the halfway line. Great strength by the All Black.
Use it.
Angus Lloyd told to use it. Franco van der Merwe at first receiver. Less than 2 minutes now. Taken on again by Henderson. Goes to ground, well met by Jake Ball. Again it's Lloyd. Ross Kane does well. Jackson, now Pienaar. Pienaar's made a nice break. Is there a finish in this? And he's given it away. Well tackled by Hadley Park, still there. Knocked into touch, I think, by the Scarlets. That might just be an Ulster line-out.
Great read by Hadley Parks, Jim, but great set of hands by young Ross Kane. Plucked that out of the air through the circle pass, and then Pienaar makes an exquisite break, but Hadley Parks read it beautifully. Just did enough to get himself between passer and passee and just pick off that intercept. And clever footballer. Gilroy does well, though, just drives him into touch and also get the line out.
Yeah, Liam Williams knocked it into touch following some great work by Hadley Parks.
If you're going to spill, go and do it on the side, please.
Change, I think, in the Scarlet side. Replacement hooker Ryan Elias has come on.
Time on. Let's go. In.
Big line like this for Ulster.
More.
Well won by Alan O'Connor. Now here's the drive. They're a long way out.
18 out.
Peter Edwards told to get out of it. Here comes this Ulster drive. They stop and they check. They get their skipper Rob Herring in at the back. They've about 10 metres to go. In goes Rob Little. Is Herring going to get a third one in a row? That's a penalty against the Scarlets. Playing advantage, and Ulster think they've got the try. And as Henderson gets over, and that puts the tin lid on it. They may have struggled a bit in the second half, but the finish was just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, it's quality line-out play from Ulster, the catch and drive. Rob Herring riding shotgun at the back, and Little and Riddick join on just to give some added impetus, and the Scarlets do very well, Jim, to hold it on, but Henderson from all of 1-2 yards, almost taking on the Nick Williams mantle from last year, and takes himself over the line for 5.
Yeah, referee was playing advantage, and Ian Henderson in his first game for Ulster this season gets his first try of the season and is 5th in the league, and that should guarantee 4 points for Ulster.
The forwards wouldn't have been happy there, Jim, if one of the backs had sneaked in on that for a score in the back of the driving maul. I don't think Alan Clark would have been too happy, so the fact that Henderson gets the 5-pointer, that'll put a smile on Sniffer's face.
Well, Rob Little was trying to worm his way into it. So try for Henderson, returning from Irish duty. Is there going to be another conversion for Jackson, returning from Irish duty? Off the post. Don't think it's going to matter. And referee Ben Whitehouse blows his whistle. That final try will give a little bit of relief. No conversion for Paddy Jackson, and it's a welcome back to him, who's our Guinness man of the match. A lot of credit to Ian Henderson, looking a wee bit on the rusty side, likewise Jackson, but two very important players as Ulster move forward. So Ulster have won this one. It's played 3-1-3, 4 points for Ulster, 13 in all, and more tougher games to play. Away to Glasgow next week, then home to the Ospreys, and then away to Connacht, and then a couple of European games. So played 3-1-3 for Les Kiss's side, and they'll be quite happy. They had to work very, very hard for that. They could well have scored an extra couple of tries, but the Scarlets, with Rhys Patchell in pretty decent form, made it a very tough evening here at the Kingspan Stadium. But nonetheless, Ulster have come through undefeated so far this season, and there's two men who know each other well, and they'll probably have something medicinal afterwards just to celebrate. So a lot better reading than it might have been. Ulster won this one. It's Ulster 19 and the Scarlets 8.
Well, 11 points in it at the end. Much tighter game than perhaps Ulster would have hoped for. They made hard work of it in the second half, Stephen Ferris and Ian Humphreys.
So hey, Stephen, you give the guys a lot of credit, and then they don't go out and perform in the second half. I think they'll be very disappointed. Firstly, their discipline. Straight away at the start of the second half, they give away a couple of cheap penalties, and the momentum just went with the Scarlets in. And in fairness to them, they played. They came here, they threw the ball around, and they nearly got out of here with a losing bonus point. But Ulster will take the 4 points. I think they can build a lot on their first half performance and take a lot out of their second half performance going forward.
Yeah, the Scarlets, it was a much improved performance in the second half, and they forced a lot of those Ulster errors and forced them to try and push the game a little the way they didn't want to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Scarlets seemed to tighten it up a little bit. They didn't kick as loosely as they did in the first half, and then Ulster probably were a little bit looser than they would have liked. That last try came from, we were talking about possibly the first maul in the second half. So Ulster really could have done with tightening it up a little bit perhaps earlier and just suffocating the game a little bit more and hold on to possession. But fair, all credit to Scarlets, they played pretty well, but Ulster will just be pleased to get the win.
Yeah, on the positive, of course, that's 3 out of 3. Ulster unbeaten. Great start to the season.
Yeah, it is a fantastic start, and Glasgow got beaten tonight away in Cardiff. That's a good result from an Ulster point of view. But for me, the lads will be in that change room saying, we should have really had 4 tries there tonight. At the start of the second half, a 2-on-1 in the corner, a run in, 5-pointer, we let it go a begging. Our decision making at times in the second half there just went against us, and we'll learn from it. And there's a lot to be taken out of that second half performance, even though we didn't play that well.
Okay, well, let's hear from tonight's man of the match, Paddy Jackson.
Paddy, congratulations, good to be back.
Yeah, it's great to be back, and good night for it, so it's nice and dry, and been a long pre-season, so I'm glad to be back in front of the home crowd and with the lads.
How difficult was it having to watch those first 2 games?
Yeah, it was tough watching up there with a few of the other boys, but the guys did so well in the last few games, and it's never fun watching from home, but yeah, just glad to be back, and I think the guys were starting to build nicely. A lot of stuff we've still been working on from pre-season the last few games, so I think we enjoyed it tonight.
What pleased you most about the performance?
I think the boys are listening to me. They're doing what I was saying. It's nice when guys react to you and you can feel a bit of an energy back and forth. So I think I was just pleased to be back, and it was annoying that we couldn't finish in the start of the second half, but I think that we kept our composure. That was probably the pleasing thing for me, that we didn't lose the head even when they got back in our half and scored. So yeah, I was delighted that despite not getting the tries, we finished it off in the end.
How much confidence do you take from the summer tour in South Africa?
Yeah, it was. I felt very confident after it, but then you have that 2-month gap of playing no games, which is a bit bizarre. So I was pretty anxious coming into this game, but once I got my first couple of kicks in, I felt pretty good, and I felt comfortable on the ball.
How much potential do you think there is in this backline?
Yeah, it's massive. I think the depth that we've got is pretty ridiculous, and I think it's great. We're all pushing each other, and it's just starting to get that little bit tense in the meeting rooms, and everyone wants to be pulling on the starting shirt. So I think we said before the game, Rob said, we're the lucky ones to wear the jersey today, so hopefully we get to pull it on again next week.
Charles Pietau's off on a lap of honour behind you. What's he brought to things?
Yeah, it's speed, footwork, decision making. Chad, he's just brilliant, and I think he's always got a smile on his face as well, which I enjoy. So it's always good when you turn around and see boys having a bit of fun as well, and brings a bit of a calm aura to the back line.
Well done, congratulations. I'll ask Colin Bell from the Ad to represent your man of the match award.
Congratulations, Paddy.
Well done to Paddy Jackson, sounding as if he thoroughly enjoyed that performance. Sounded sparky and sounded as if he was enjoying taking on that leadership role this evening.
Yeah, definitely. He just said there, enjoyed everybody listening to me, doing what he's telling them to do, and he's just taking the game by the scruff of the neck, and that's something that's been missing the last couple of weeks, especially in that first half. The big runners running off outside him, Stuart McCluskey getting over the gain line, getting the ball out the back door to Stuarty Olden. Things seem to function pretty well, and hopefully he can build on this performance, because Paddy Jackson is world class, really is, and he showed that in the summer tour in South Africa, and I'm really excited about him. It's a massive season for him. Is Sexton still the Irish #1? We'll soon find out, but Paddy Jackson's definitely played well and put his hand up again tonight.
And it was probably his first half performance which earned him the match.